Thank you for tuning in to Prevention Partnership Live, where for the next 30 minutes we'll be taking questions and comments on a very important topic that is of interest to most people in the city of Chicago. But first, I'd like to introduce my guests here, or my guests, if you can introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Edwards, and I'm a program coordinator at Prevention Partnership. I work with Daryl Edwards at P2, which is short for Prevention Partnership. It's a fantastic organization, and I'm happy to be here with Daryl tonight to discuss our program.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Well, let's get to what we're going to be talking about here this evening. We are going to be talking about Bassett, which is the Beverage Alcohol Seller and Server Education Program. This is a program that is mandated by the state of Illinois. If you want to be a bartender or any person who works as a waiter in a restaurant or a bar, any restaurant that serves alcohol, you currently have to be mandated to have a license. And this training is all about that. If you want more information on the program, our website is on the screen, www.p2online.org. It has links to the Bassett website where you can actually register online, or you can give us a call. But Bassett is our topic for today. Now, the logo in the middle is very, very, very serious. It says, "Don't be an illegal worker, it's the law." This is very, very, very important. Most people don't realize that in the state of Illinois, if you work at a restaurant, I mean, it could be one of the places where they serve buffalo wings and beer, or any of the restaurants, where the seafood restaurants. As long as it's a restaurant that serves alcohol or beer, you must have a license by the Illinois Liquor Control Commission to work there. So if you just say, well, I may just want to get a job working at a local family diner, at the mall, you're not eligible to work unless you have a Bassett license. So what we're going to talk about is what that license is, how it works, and how you can get one free in one day. And I would like to say free is very important, because up until recently, you actually had to pay to have this certification.
Daryl, I got a question. So, are you saying that if I worked at a place like TGI Fridays or Hooters or one of those big chain restaurants, if I'm not Bassett certified, technically I shouldn't be working?
Well, by law, you can. Let's take a look at this.
Okay, sure. Sounds good.
As of July 1st, it started in Cook County and it rolled out to the rest of Illinois, county by county. So now, as of last year, state law requires that all on-premise alcohol servers and the bouncers, or the person who checks IDs at the front door when you first come into the restaurant or the bar, they must be Bassett certified. And you've got to come in and get recertified every 3 months. It's mandatory, it's by law. There can be fines and various other things that you or the restaurant could face if you're not certified. So if you're currently working at one of these establishments and you do handle alcohol and you're not certified, you are technically an illegal worker, and the city could come in, or the state can come in and bust you at any time.
And they can fine you, and they can also fine the business.
Oh, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, wow, that's serious.
Yeah, and they could actually shut down the restaurant, or it could bar you from working in this industry again. So
Wow,
if
okay.
if waiting tables or bartending, you certainly don't want to lose your license.
Yeah, so guys out there, if you have any questions about getting Bassett certified, give us a call. Call us tonight. We're only going to be on for about 30 minutes. We can give you additional information about the Bassett program, and that call-in number is 312, it's at the bottom of the screen there, 312-738-1060, because we only have 30 minutes and we can't do this all night, so give us a call.
All right, thank you, Eric. Okay, let's go and look at basically what the purpose of Bassett is. Well, it's basically to provide information to sellers and servers about alcoholic beverages, the effects of alcohol and drug abuse. Remember, alcohol is a drug, and to provide the necessary skills for people to be able to do this. One of the things you got to remember that alcohol technically is a drug. So if you are a bartender or waiter, even if you work in one of the little sports bars, with the chicken wings and the beer, you are serving a drug. It's a legal drug, but you must be legally licensed by Bassett, which is the Illinois Liquor Control Commission, to do this properly. And during our Bassett training, we stress on not to be able to overserve your customers. We're not trying to say, oh, well, this is prohibition and people over the age of 21 can't have a drink and relax and have fun, but we need to make sure that two particular rules are upheld. In the state of Illinois, it is illegal to serve an already intoxicated person, and it's illegal to serve anyone under 21.
So Daryl, got a question.
Sure.
So you're saying if, let's say, I'm at home and I've been putting them away, I'm drinking, and I'm a little intoxicated, and if I walked into a bar, are you saying that if I'm intoxicated, it's illegal for them to serve me?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Anyone who is legally intoxicated cannot be served or sold alcohol in the state of Illinois.
Oh, okay.
So if you're a bartender or a server, you need to know how to right then and there refuse them service. Or if they're already there drinking in your restaurant and they've had too many,
Yeah.
you need to know how to cut them off.
Oh, that's good. So that's good information to know, and the Bassett program would help me understand that, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
if you
good.
serve a minor or a person he could be 50 years old, if he's legally intoxicated, it's against the law. You could face a fine. Personally, you can face a fine as the bartender or server. The manager, the owner, can also face a fine as well. So you got to be very careful that you obey this.
Yeah, good to know. So guys, if you have any questions, don't forget, give us a call at 312-738-1060.
Okay, and if you want to sign up for the Bassett, look, just go to this website, www.p2online.org. That is our website. Go for programs, you'll see Bassett. Click on Bassett, it'll take you right where you can just put your name in and sign up. I do believe we have an upcoming class coming up in May, is that right, Eric?
That's correct. We've got a class coming up at the Oak Park Library. It's going to be on May 26th, and it's going to be from 12 to 4 p.m. And the beauty about this class is it's free, no charge, free. So anybody that's interested in registering for our Bassett class to get their Bassett license, they can go to our website, which is www.oakparkbassett.com. Again, that's www.oakparkbassett.com. And you can also go to our www.p2online.org website, which is this address right here, and get more information. But it is a free class, and once you actually take the class, you are certified after the class. You get a nice certificate, we print it out, it's beautiful, you love it, and you're good to go with the state of Illinois for 3 years. Good program.
Right. Excellent program. And this year was the first time we've been able to offer this program free of charge to anyone in the state of Illinois. Just come on out to the Oak Park Library, and as long as you just sign up online, we'll be waiting on you with your certificate already printed out. All you need to do is pass the class. There's a little test at the end, 20 questions, most of them true or false, and so on, and you are certified.
Everybody passes our class.
Yeah,
That's kind of our motto.
That's our motto.
Yeah.
No one fails our class. If you get a low score, I myself or Eric or one of our other trainers, we'll stay there, after school, until you do pass the class. And if you don't have the time, you can always come personally to my office maybe later in the week. Take the test over and over again until you pass.
Sounds
So
good.
our goal is to teach people and not to fail people. Okay, well, let's look back at some of the objectives. Of course, we want to educate people. We want to train the sellers and servers. Also, what we want to do is we're trying to stop drunk driving or driving under the influence of alcohol and motor vehicle crashes. That is one of the big things that we really want to stress in this training, because if you think about it, 60% of the people who are drunk on the street are coming from drinking establishments, either a restaurant or a bar. A lot of people, they drive, they're perfectly sober, they drive to a restaurant or a bar, they have too many drinks, and because the bartender didn't cut them off, they get in their cars and they try to drive home, and they have traffic accidents. So drunk driving is one of the main things that Bassett was actually put in place in Illinois to try to bring down some of this drunk driving from establishments. Technically, if every bartender and server who was Bassett trained did their jobs, we wouldn't have any drunk drivers leaving bars and restaurants, because you would have cut them off before they got drunk.
That's a good point. There's also not just drunk drivers out there, but you've got drunk pedestrians and drunk walkers too. I think there was a situation where there was a person that was at a bar, had a little too much to drink. They didn't cut the person off. They were taking public transportation, and they had an accident on the train line. So you're absolutely right. It's really important to help and make sure that we manage like our customers when they're at drinking establishments.
Right.
Very important.
Right, it's very important, because if you're the bartender or you are the server, you are directly responsible for what happens to that customer. Let's say I come into a bar or a restaurant and I have 10 Long Island iced teas, and I get in my car, and on my way home, I have a crash and I kill somebody. Well, of course, if I'm still alive, I go to jail, but also the owners of the restaurant goes to jail. And you, as the bartender who served that last drink, who caused that person to be intoxicated, you're liable too.
Whoa, wait, Daryl. So you're saying if I own the bar, and if my employees, if they're not properly doing their Bassett, as an owner, I can be held liable for that?
You can be held liable, as well as the actual employee who served the drink.
Wow. Serious.
Right. So if you're at one of these little chicken wing places, the girls in the tight, costumes, and you're just bringing over pitchers of beer, and those sports guys go out and go crazy and crash their car, then the establishment's in trouble, as well as the individual waitress themselves. Fines can be high as $80,000 in damages.
$80,000. That's a lot of loot.
Right? That's a lot of money. And you don't want to end up being liable for that type of damages just because you serve someone too much to drink. As part of Bassett training, it's only a 4-hour training, but we go through very precise steps where you can tell who's had a little too much and who hasn't. And as a bartender or a server, you are empowered by the state of Illinois to cut off any customer who you feel is intoxicated. Now, if they want to go to another place and have a drink, the responsibility is off of you. But you just want to make sure that they don't get drunk in your establishment. And it's good for them, and it's also good for the customer, because we don't want them to get hurt either. We also want to stop underage drinking in our community. That's very important. One of the problems that we have in a lot of liquor establishments is people not checking IDs. So one basic part of Bassett program is how to properly check IDs, because you're responsible. If you let an 18-year-old get in, I don't care if it's a fake ID, and you say, oh, well, it looked like it was real, I didn't know. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you have to make sure that you check everyone's ID, and you need to make sure that it's a real, proper ID.
I got a question for you, Dale, but how would I know it's a fake ID? I mean, does the Bassett program, do they cover that too?
Oh, we've got an entire chapter on checking IDs. And if people aren't familiar now, there's a new state ID that's out. And before you get the new state ID, you get issued a piece of paper for 2 weeks while you wait for your plastic ID to come in the mail. A lot of people now are taking those paper IDs, making Xerox copies of them, abusing them. And as part of the class, you'll know a real ID when you see one.
Yeah.
We also stress they only take driver's license, state IDs. Don't take things like school IDs, things like that. They could be falsified.
Right. Yeah, that's good. So guys, if you got any questions, don't forget, give us a call at 312-738-1060. We've only got about 15 minutes, and we love to hear your questions or comments. So give us a call at 312-738-1060.
Okay. Also, I want to look at a couple more things that we talk about in the Bassett class. And we talk about the physical properties of alcohol, drugs, and alcoholism. This is basically on that. This is basically where we actually talk about what alcohol does to the body, how it affects the brain, how it affects coordination, vision, things like that, so that you're able to notice an intoxicated customer at your dinner table or at your bar. So we do talk about the physical effects of alcohol. And this is also good information because you may have people in your family or you do have people in your friends who tend to like to go out and maybe drink a little bit too much.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do that.
Yeah. And you'll learn a lot of information just about how alcohol affects the body and some do's and don't do's. So that's important. We'll also talk a little bit about the scope of the problem. There's problem drinking, underage drinking, and some consequences. And that's really what we like to talk about is problem drinking. Again, we're not prohibitionists. We're not trying to tell people if you're over 21 what to drink, what not to drink. We're just saying in the state of Illinois, the legal limit for alcohol is 0.08 is the blood alcohol concentration. And for most people, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 standard drinks. And a standard drink is considered 1 12-ounce can of beer, a 5-ounce glass of wine, or 1 shot. Those are all considered standard drinks. So if I had 5 beers and Eric over here had 5 shots of vodka, it's equivalent. So, but a 0.08, just my personal, everyone's a little different, but personal, 7 to 8 standard drinks, I would be a 0.08. And then I should stop. I'm legally intoxicated, and I don't need to be operating a vehicle, and the safest thing is probably get home or at least someplace safe.
I got a question, Daryl. So you said 0.08. What if I'm under that, like a little under that, say 0.06 or 0.7?
You are legal to operate a motor vehicle, but everyone still is a little different. I know some people who can drink 1 drink, and a breathalyzer would say they're like a 0.1, but if you told them to walk the straight line, they still couldn't do it. So a lot of times, even though you're under a 0.08, if an officer says you look a little funny, he still may make you do a sobriety test, in which case, you will be asked to go into the station.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good to know.
Okay, let's move right along. We also talk a little bit about prevention and intervention techniques. What we do in prevention and intervention, you said, okay, well, I've got a person here who look like they're getting a little bit too far ahead, or they're getting loud. We talk about that in class. They're speaking loud, or maybe they're dropping things. They have slurred speech. They start having glassy looking eyes and things like that. And you can say, whoa, this person looks like he's going to be drunk here. I need to stop him. So part is a bartender's responsibility, as well as the waiter. If he says, oh, let me get another one, you have to, well, excuse me, sir. It looks like you've had about 5 or 6. Are you sure you're okay? And you lead up to the point where it's eventually, if they insist on keep on drinking, you have to just say, I'm sorry, sir, but in your condition, I'm no longer legally allowed to serve you any alcohol. And we learn how to do this as part of the Bassett class.
So I see. So what we're primarily trying to do is protect our customers.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Trying to protect our customers. And remember, protecting yourself and the bar or restaurant that you're working in or working for. Again, we'll talk about like the physical properties of alcohol. And we also talk about the scope of the problem with problem drinking. You got, problem drinking that goes on. We'll discuss what that is. We certainly don't want underage drinking, so we talk a little bit about that. And then we go into what we call the Illinois state statutes. Illinois state statutes this is one thing you got to consider. Just because you're at the restaurant and you just figure I'm bringing out the chicken wings and the beer, I don't have to know anything about the law. Yes, you do have to know about the law. You're entirely responsible for following all the laws. In Illinois, we have what's called third-party liability. The drunk is responsible, the establishment or business is responsible, and the person who's dishing out or serving the liquor is responsible. So, of course, the person who's drunk is responsible for whatever they do, but the owners of the restaurant and the workers are also responsible. That's just the way it works in Illinois.
So I guess that old cliche is, hey, not my fault, I just work here. That doesn't apply here.
It doesn't apply here.
Yeah,
It doesn't
okay.
apply here. So you want to make sure that you know what the state statutes and the laws are considering. And then you got to check, because the laws here in Chicago can be different than in the suburbs. For instance, in Chicago, some of the liquor stores could stay open to, 2 o'clock in the morning, whereas out west in Oak Park, no alcohol sales after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it could be different. Some suburbs, they have on the far west side, they stay open to 4 a.m. in the morning. So you got to make sure that you have local laws for the city or municipality that you work in, and also you want to know the state laws. So we go over all of that. We talked a little bit about proper identification, the techniques, policies, and expectations, and then dram shop liability. That's insurance and victims' rights. If you work at a restaurant or a bar or a tavern, that bar or tavern needs special insurance to serve alcohol. Alcohol is a drug, and people do get intoxicated, and it sort of alters people's perceptions, and some bad things can happen. So you got to have insurance to cover if something goes horribly wrong. Again, I mean, you could be responsible for up to $80,000 in damages for car crashes, injuries resulting from a drunken person leaving your establishment. And if you were the one who handed that person and got them drunk, the law says that you were Bassett trained, or should have been, and you knew better than to serve a person until they were drunk.
Yeah, it's really serious. So guys out there, if you got any questions, don't forget, give us a call at 312-738-1060.
Okay, and I'm just gonna show you guys this. This is a certificate that people will receive. Once you complete the course, you'll receive a certificate. This is actually makes you an official bartender. Now we don't teach mixology, how to make a bloody martini and things. This is just the law, and this is just the proper procedures for serving drinks. But once you receive that certificate, you are legally certified at the end of the day to go to any licensed restaurant or bar, apply for a job, and just say, hey, I'm licensed to serve alcohol in the state of Illinois.
That's a really nice certificate. Can you show me the certificate again?
Okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's good for 3 years, after which you'll have to come and take a repeat class because laws and things have changed. But you'll receive this certificate right at the end of the course. Now, this is one of the only job training programs. Well, if you really think about it, what other job training program can you know absolutely nothing, walk into a free class, and in 4 hours you come out a legally licensed bartender, waiter, or server?
Sign me up. Sounds good.
And you will get entered into the state of Illinois computer system, where you can print out a new certificate if you lose that one, or if someone needs to verify that you are a licensed server or a bartender, they can just look you up right on the internet. So it's a very good program, and it's sponsored by the Illinois Department of Transportation. They are making this program available free until September 30th. After that, we'll see if they want to do it again. It looks like it's getting good response, so it may continue. But I jump in now to take the classes because they fill up fast. One of the things that you can do is visit our website at www.p2online.org. Look under the tab that says Programs, and from Programs, you'll see a link to the Bassett. It will take you right to the site where you can put your name, address, birth date, serial number, all of that type of stuff in there. You'll be signed up for our next class coming up in May.
Fantastic program, Daryl.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Prevention Partnership Live. If you need more information, just go to that website and get more information on Bassett. We also have a financial literacy program and a bunch of other programs. So thank you for tuning in, and until next time, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.